Hello and welcome to part number 16, color correct and finishing the clip delivery. Of course, we have to talk a little bit about what I have set up from the start, and we have to talk about the color correction. It means the brightness of each clip and how much saturation it has and so on. So what I have done here is, of course, one clip, and I show you that is that clip here in the background. This has now here an RGB. It's a little bit darker in the mid area. Then we have here the red's a little bit lifted, the green only lifted in the darker area, and the blue area also a little bit in the darker area lifted. So we get a little bit more bluish tone here in to these areas. Have a look. I switch it off. Now it's more reddish or close to brown. And now it's bluish again. So it's just that tiny little bit. And as I said, we have, of course, always the option to go with one or the other or with both toward each other. And let's show you that first. That's now the foreground. So this is without the curve. And then we have here the RGB. The red goes here nearly no at all into the game, and the green is the same, and the blue is the same. Nearly, it has just a tiny bit. It's just that little bit that makes it. So pulled out a little bit of blue here, pull a little bit blue in the background, and then we sit already very nicely in the game. So here we have no change, of course. It's just a mask here. This has nothing to do with color. And then we have to go here to our glow of that. That was this idea. And otherwise, we have nearly nothing here in terms of elements. Of course, here that is an adjustment layer, and you see what happens. This is now here from the butterfly or from the dragons. So I can change here the brightness of this. Or when I have here my adjustment layer, I wanted to have a little bit light here. Okay. Can see there is nothing really more to it. So as I have mentioned it before and in the last part, I like to go a little bit maybe over the top here with the glow, but sometimes it really makes the difference when you want to combine things. And of course the brightness goes here up. I will dial it down later on. And normally I would go here maybe with 10 or maximum 20, but this time I said, okay, I want to have that in that mood, in this filmic look, which is for me always when the light crawls through the celluloid by itself, so to say. The halation, which is normally also part of the diffusion, when you have maybe just an glimmer glass in front of it, or satin, black satin, or black frost, or whatever you like. And so from here to here, that's a big step, but it's very simply done just with fast blur and a very high value. That's of course based on the UHD. For SD or HD, I would have a complete different value, of course. Some people ask how to make a letterbox very quick and easy, and normally I would say just take a black solid in the size of the picture that you want to have. You see that here on the dots, and then just use the alpha channel from it. That's all there is to it. You don't need any applications or something like that. And having said that, the more native tools you can use, the better you are off. And for example, if you use DaVinci, which is free in the standard version or the light version, then you learn how to do those things. And normally I would say when I click here and you see I have magic bullet looks in it, that was done because I want to show that with After Effects. And maybe in the next years when I talk about my other films, then I might show only DaVinci, where I have much more power and more control about it. But the beauty of this here is, first of all, that I can use preset here to get inspired. And that is all I want to tell about preset. Where I see an advantage is to just click here and see what it does. And then you have to compare it with your story. Anyway, it's a fantastic application. It's wonderful to work with. And as long as you know exactly what you're doing, this is a very comfortable setup. And again, I like presets to be inspired, to get maybe some ideas. Okay, so this is Magic Bullet Looks, since long in my box, and I do not have a lot of plugins. I really like native stuff, and I like to set up my own things. What I like here is, of course, I have now found my expression here. This is pretty much the style that I was after. I wanted to have something where we come from the dark into the bright area, but something mystical is here maybe in the background. Something is not really, really inviting, but that's, of course, my story. You have maybe a different idea to it. Okay, that's all. I can only say thanks for listening and have fun.